Dear my brothers and sisters, have a good day. Uh, what what I want to say uh, about Trump to launch a war against Iran. I mean, they want Trump to launch a war against Iran. Iran is a country that has been slammed with United States sanctions for almost 4 decades now, despite both countries declaring one another as the enemy. Close combat is yet to take place between them, based on the ground that Iran is planning attacks on United States forces in the Middle East. Donald Trump's administration on May 5 sent aircraft carrier attack groups along with the bombardment task force consisting of B-54 bombers. The days following May 5 were the most intense between Iran and the United States to date. By the way, the intelligence which got the United States to deploy forces in Israel based, United States Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, who was in Finland on the days that followed, cancelled his meeting with German Chancellor Angela Merkel and went to Iraq. Pompeo could not find the support he hoped from Iraqi officials. The Iraqis indicated the United States is exaggerating the intelligence concerning Iran and stated that they did not witness any unfamiliar development in Iranian behavior. The claim that Pentagon is preparing to send 120,000 troops to the Gulf landed like a bomb on the world's agenda. Meanwhile, the United States decision to send an additional military fleet to the region, including a battleship, escalated tensions. Secretary of State Pompeo then visited Brazil and held meetings with his French, German, and British counterparts to ensure support to their maximum pressure policy against Iran. However, Pompeo failed to achieve the result he had hoped for, just as these three countries that are signatories of the Iran nuclear deal do not approve of United States President Trump's withdrawal from this deal. They are also displeased with the United States Iran policy. As for the Trump administration, it is pushing European leaders to both withdraw from the nuclear deal and fully support the United States against Iran. Visiting Moscow following Brussels, Pompeo met with Russian President Vladimir Putin. It is impossible for Russia, which itself is facing United States sanctions, to overtly support the United States regarding Iran. Meanwhile, Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif traveled to China, where Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi slammed the United States one-sided sanction on Iran and declared support for Iran. According to information in United States media, in addition to NATO intelligence units, the United Kingdom wing of the anti-Daesh coalition in Iraq and Syria also find the claims of an increasing threat from Iran baseless. In summary, this idea, which Trump's National Security Advisor John Bolton and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo are trying to sell, found no buyers. Nobody believes the likelihood of Iran seeking a reason go to war with the United States. On the contrary, it is Trump's neocons that are seeking an excuse to launch a war against Iran. As a matter of fact, even Trump himself is not after war. Trump believes that maximum pressure will bring Iran into line. Trump had accused previous United States presidents of pushing America into stupid wars that cost the country trillions of dollars. Going to war with Iran is not in the interest of Trump, who wants to be re-elected as president in 2020. Trump accused news outlets that reported the plan to send 120,000 troops to the Gulf as publishing fake news. Of course, Trump's denial does not show that there is no plan. Only in January, the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times had reported that Bolton requested a military operation plan from Pentagon aimed at Iran. Bolton's zealotry concerning Iran did not escape attention. Trump, who promised to withdraw United States troops from Afghanistan and Syria, has been sitting in the presidential chair since 2017, but is yet to bring home a single soldier. While this is the state, Trump would not want a war with Iran. Whoever convinced Trump to work with Bolton and the other hawks, they are the forces that want the war with Iran. Israel, which is among I want to tell you about this one, which is also very important. Israel, which is among the likely suspect of this scenario, would of course very much love for the United States to fight for it. La Fontaine Tele relates what happens to a cat that takes the chestnuts in the fire with its paws upon the monkey poking him. The monkey is the one that eats the chestnuts, but the cat is the one that gets beaten. In this Iran scenario, Bolton is playing the role of this cat's pal. This is number one. Second, the United States says it doesn't want war after the biggest military build-up at the Iranian border. The United States is making the biggest military build-up of the modern area on the Iranian border, yet its official statement is we do not want war. Iran is taking position according to this siege. It is saluting the Gulf with hundreds of muzzles-loaded vessels, yet its official statement is we do not want war. Saudi Arabia is willing to have Iran attacked from afar, but its foreign minister says we do not want war. If you ask me, apart from the extensions of Tehran in Iraq, Syria and Lebanon, even Israel will not want war. Their plans are working like clockwork, and the only thing that can disturb them would be a war that gets out of control. If so many countries whose national security interests are conflicting want peace, I would suggest they slowly withdraw from those regions, even through their acknowledgement that a war will not break out is realistic, even if all the "we do not want war" statements are sincere. If there is the likelihood of a war that will wreak havoc in the heart of the world in such a tight space, trouble will brew. For example, if countries that have settled in Iraq for so long are packing their bags and leaving, if even the United Kingdom, which knows the true story, is joining the train, albeit gradually, and Ankara is strengthening its ties with Baghdad despite this, if the construction of the fortress in northern Iraq, which is said will be the United States' biggest consulate in the world once it is completed, is hastily continuing, and Katyusha rockets are fired into the green zone in the Iraqi capital. It does not matter whether they hit their target. The jam in Idlib is one of the wings of the same bracket. The bilateral meeting of Turkey and Russia's defense ministers following the meeting of the two countries' state leaders seems to have curbed the Damascus attacks on Idlib after last week. The situation was disturbing Turkey, and it appears to have been temporarily suspended. We know why Moscow told Damascus to move forward, but we do not know what it did to make it stop. The two speculations are interesting. Reports based on unreliable sources that Turkey's National Intelligence Organization, MIT, Chief Hakan Fidan, held a meeting in Tehran with Damascus leader Bashar al-Assad. Should we consider the timing and the message given of this report rather than its authenticity? There is nothing surprising in intelligence contacts. President, His Excellency Recep Tayyip Erdogan, made statements with respect to this as well. However, we need to think what is trying to be said through the claims supported by Damascus that Assad personally stated, "We met with Hakan Fidan in Tehran and we are ready to meet with His Excellency Erdogan as well." It does not seem true. If it is, that is a different story, but if it is a lie, there must be a trap. The second topic is the matter of the Hajj hoax, Kirpi, in Libya. The videos and photographs of Turkey-made war vehicle are spreading like wildfire, especially on social media. There is no secret to whose side Turkey is on and who it is standing against in Libya. This is not solely a matter of taking sides either. It is a move to meet the Western attacks targeting the region and the coalition cooperating with the invaders in the Middle East as far as possible before they reach the borders. Yes. Whether or not this aid is real, the hand reaching out to Libya will be presented to the global community by the invaders and their solution partners through exploitation. This will not come as a surprise either, but this will most likely cause Ankara sleepless nights. There are 3 more developments that we will be carefully watching. Saudi Arabia is going to assemble Gulf Cooperation Council members and Arab League member countries in Mecca on May 30. It is going to tell them about the Iranian threat, and try to form a strong Arab bloc against the war. The second development is France working with Cyprus to expand the country's naval base, and mostly how this will contribute to the anti-Turkey alliance in the Mediterranean. The third development is the S400 and F-35s. You might ask what there is left to discuss, but there is the information that the United States halted the shipment of F-35 simulator equipment to Turkey, which was unheard even through President His Excellency Erdogan mentioned it. They delivered 5 F-35s to our generals and pilots. Our aircraft is currently in the United States, but for example, we have simulators at etc. too there. They are yet to deliver these simulators. Of course, as these apparatuses were not shipped here, we are manufacturing $7 billion worth of parts in Turkey to send. In the meantime, we are getting this ready. This is actually a first. Turkey had until now been stating that there was no disruption in the F-35 deal and the delivery process. This is the first time the international disagreement was mentioned. The United States is threatening the health, the shipment concerning F-35s by using the S-400s as an excuse, but this is the first step that was taken. This rise is going to continue until the declaration of the approach called the deal of the century, which we can describe as the Israel solution in the Middle East. The first leg of the declaration is June 35 to 26. It is said its economic dimension will be revealed. It is obvious that is a sort of purchase step. The plan's political dimension may emerge in July. In other words, there is an appending revealing process. And the last point, what Turkish defense ministers S400 statement revealed about United States true intention. So you will constantly produce and you want us to buy. You want to be the manufacturer while we are the market. No. Turkey is no longer a market. We are going to form a partnership, said Turkish Defense Minister His Excellency Hulusi Akar. You must have understood the context. The S-400 muzzles. We were invited last night as representative of the press and TV for an iftar fast-breaking program hosted the National Defense Ministry by Defense Minister His Excellency Hulusi Akar. Commissioned officers kindly welcomed guests with a smile, and the iftar meal was prepared diligently, far from West, yet was pleasurable and delightful for the guests. I should also add that this is the first time I attended such a reception in capital city Ankara, where I have been serving for 14 years. Minister His Excellency Akar made jokes and laughed at the jokes made, creating a warm and comforting atmosphere. True, the atmosphere was serene. As such, this was not the case with respect to the topics to be discussed. One in particular, the majority of the questions asked were concerning the Russian S400 air-to-surface missiles Turkey has purchased. After discussing the new military system at length and answering other questions, Excellency Akar left his statements on the S400s for last, perhaps due to the sensitivity of the topic. We are progressing with care and calm, otherwise it could become very problematic. These statements may be interpreted as we are going to resist to the end, and if we can get what we want, we will. If not, we will give up. But that is not the case. When we look at his statements as a whole, it would be more accurate to say the tactic pursued is to see it through without giving them any excuse, rather than giving up at the last moment. We say it's a done deal, while they say Excellency Akar related what he said to the Americans. For example, he said, is there an article anywhere in the F-35 partnership protocol that says if one of the partners buys S400s, they will be removed from the F-35 partnership? Turkey is the sole country to pay its partnership without ever delaying. We are saying that the S400 purchase is a done deal, while they say no deal is a done deal. The S400 is a system developed not for attack but defense. Turkey is buying the system with the intention to protect its own airspace territory. Cities against missiles and physical attacks, as it is a defense system and not an attack system. There is no international sanction on it either. The same rule applied for the NATO system. Even though NATO may have taken a step back in the recent period due to Washington's stance, its top level officials had stated on more than one occasion that Turkey has the right to buy this system. What does the United States really want? All this pushes us to ask a single question. Then, what does the United States really want? I asked the exact same question to Defense Minister, His Excellency Akar. And he said they do not want a NATO member to turn toward a system that belongs to a country outside the alliance. Of course, if we were to accept this as a valid excuse, we are left with the question, where does the purchase of other subversion of the same system by other NATO members countries in the past fit? The core of it is that the United States wants Turkey's military dependence relation to continue. They want Turkey to remain economically as a market and strategically dependent and obligated toward it. There are the basic reason why they are turning the S400 into a necessary topic of trade and blackmail. The process continues. Military personnel have been sent to Russia for training. On a different note, as a minister, His Excellency Akar also pointed out, the S400 process with Russia continues to run according to schedule, saying it is true that we have sent personnel to Russia for training. His Excellency Akar confirmed that the physical stage are also progressing. And I asked him, he said, is Turkey going to have a good command of the S400 technology by the end of these processes? Of course, he said, Mr. Akar was asked how Turkey may respond to the United States sanction threats, whether shooting down the Kürecik and İncirlik air bases are on the agenda. He left the answer open-ended and sufficed by saying, when we say some things this early, they lose their magic. We will take our own measures as the results emerge. We are heading towards an extremely critical photo finish regarding the S400's preferences to be made by Ankara in the next few months may lead us to new inclinations and situations such as Turkey taking its place among a new world, as Akar mentioned between the lines in one of his statements. The next few months are extremely important for this subject. Dear my sisters and brothers, Ramadan Mubarak. God bless you all. Thank you very much for kind listening, and have a good day and good night.